Vibe Cloud. And so with that, what is enterprise social? So it's not just social messaging. It is being able to collaborate in a social environment. So we're all familiar with the Facebooks and the LinkedIn, and well, I assume that we're all familiar with that. I got familiar with it when my 13-year-old daughter at the time, now 16, kind of pushed me into it, right? She's like, I sent you something. I actually went out and created you a Facebook account, Mom, and I posted something, so you need to go get it. And I'm like, okay, well, what's my password, right? So, so it's not just collaborating around just posting, but it's around collaboration around discussion threads, co-editing of messages, gadgets, being able to put a spreadsheet gadget in or a mapping gadget, being able to share files, work together real time. So Tracy may have shown you the Vibe on Prem activity stream, and that's a real-time running list of discussion threads. And that's similar to what we're going to be discussing with Vibe Cloud, just in a different manner. And so it's being able to collaborate in the enterprise, but in a secure fashion. And Vibe Cloud, by the name, it's all hosted in the cloud, and Novell actually hosts the application and the servers. And so we secure it with Novell Cloud Manager. And so we're able to provide cloud security for the enterprise. And that's a lot different than your Facebooks and your LinkedIn and things like that. So why is Vibe Cloud so different? What is such a big deal about this social for the enterprise? What does it mean? How can I take advantage of it in my enterprise, right? Why should I take advantage of it? And we have a lot of organizations asking why and how, are we sure, kind of things. And so basically, let's go through the evolution of communication to collaboration. So initially, we had the gatekeeper model, where the admin would control everything, file system and groups and so on and so forth. And then we had the peer model, where we allowed for sharing and anyone to anyone. The admin didn't control everything, but controlled some. And this is where email came into play, where we could really communicate with one another. But it wasn't in a real-time fashion. We would send it, we'd have to wait to get something back. It wasn't where we could see if they were online. They didn't have the presence awareness built in. It recently has the presence awareness built in because of application integration, but initially email didn't have this. And so now we go to the social model, where, well, let's step back. In the email model, the peer model, we receive tons of emails, and I would think that everyone would agree with this, right? And you look at your inbox and you say to yourself, why do I have all of this? I don't care about this email. I don't care about this. This is not pertaining to my job. Why am I copied on this? Oh, I do care about that, though. That's a project that I'm working on. And so we just start receiving all this stuff, and unless we put in rules and spam blockers and things like that, we just accumulate all this stuff, and we have no control over what we're getting. And so in the social model, it's a new paradigm shift where we, the end users, are a little bit more in control, even more so. And so this has a concept of the following concept, where I decide what is important to me. If I decide that, I want to follow my boss, I get to choose to follow my boss. But my boss also can put a setting in saying, I have to accept who wants to follow me. So not just anyone's going to follow me. But by being able to follow someone and people following you, it typically means that you are narrowing down your scope, your focus, to items that you care about, that you're involved with, project teams that you're working with, and so on and so forth. And so you can control what type of information you're receiving. The other thing, too, is that With the social model, I always talk about bridging the gap, and we have 4 generations in the workforce: the veterans, the baby boomers, the X generation, and the Y generation. And the X generation is where I am. The baby boomers is where my father is, my grandfather would be a veteran, and my daughter would be this Y generation. And we're going to focus on this Y gen. And so we're talking about people that are actually just this generation that is in college, you know, from elementary school all the way to college, are the Y gens. And so we start seeing this Y generation graduating college and coming into the workforce. And what has happened, especially around my daughter's age, 16, she doesn't use email. She doesn't, can she use email? Absolutely, she could. She's very intelligent, but she prefers the social model because that's what she's grown up with. She's grown up with the MySpaces and the Facebooks, and so when she gets into the workforce, that is going to be her expectation, is to have this social collaboration, not this email. But by having 4 generations in the workforce, organizations can't expect that all 4 generations are going to adapt to the Y generation's way of working. So this is where we have to integrate all of our products together. Whereas the X generation truly prefers email as a method of communication for the most part because that's what we grew up on, then what happens is I can receive emails from this social collaborative tool into my email, and I can respond. So I'm using my tool of preference, my application that I want, whereas the Y generation can use their application. And so we're bridging this generational gap together. So Novell Vibe has 2 versions. We have cloud and we have on-prem. And on-prem is what Tracy Smith just reviewed with you. It's a wonderful product. I love it. But now we have this new cloud version. And they're completely different for the most part. One's on-premise, one is in the cloud. They have a lot of similarities, as you'll see in the top portion of these boxes: access controls, file sharing, groups and workspaces, searches and tags. But there's a few differences. We have real-time co-editing with Vibe in the cloud. We have business social networking, being able to secure manner, have real-time discussions around a project, right? And we have live feeds in the cloud. And so those are the real main differences. So with that, we'll discuss some of the Vibe Cloud use cases. So 3 main use cases: stay in the loop, get feedback, work together, right? So staying in the loop is being able to find people that are relevant and communities that are relevant. And communities means groups. And the nice part about Vibe Cloud is if your organization allows it, you can even communicate easily externally. So if I'm right in the middle of a discussion thread and I figure, oh, I need my vendor involved in this, or maybe my consultant that is working with our project team, we basically add him to the list, an external email address, and he or she gets an email, they can come into the system, and they only see that discussion thread that they're a part of. So we're able to really find people, follow people, and get people involved. So staying in that loop. So we're also able to get feedback, publish work in progress, get feedback real time, and be able to see the presence awareness. I mean, the only way that you're going to get real-time feedback is if that person is online at that time, right? Let's just face the facts. It's not going to be real-time because they're not logged in. They have to, they have to log in first in order to get to the information. So, it's only as real-time as the person is available. So we can have dialogue around that input, but it's more or less like it's like a discussion thread, but in an IM fashion, instant message fashion. So we can get good feedback, have this feedback, just a constant discussion thread in a threaded area. So we can also work together inside and outside the organization. This is part of what I was talking about, is emailing outside your organization as well, working interactively. You don't have to merge or anything. We have the file sync, native file habitat we'll be able to use, and be able to co-edit documents and things like that. So if you want to try out Novell Vibe, I was going to come back to this slide, but I think what we're going to do is just go from here into the demo. We're going to get into the demo right now. So the first thing I did was I went out to the vibe.novell.com, and this is where you can sign up for Vibe, or if you're already a member, you just log in, okay? Now, Vibe is still in beta, as you can see up here. We hope to release at the end of March, beginning of April, and so that Novell product announcement should be coming out soon. So I'm going to log in, and it's going to load into my production system. So you're going to see my production stuff, okay? But I don't think I have anything real sensitive, so I'm going to go ahead and show it. All right, so just to give you a brief overview of what the main look is here, what you're seeing, right here, dead smack in the middle, is your discussion thread, basically. It is your big list. It is all of the stuff that is happening. If I had to make this synonymous with email, this would be your inbox, okay? This inbox, this big list, is everything, all of the discussions, all of the files, everything that's been going on with all of the teams and people that I'm involved with. So over here on the left are people in groups who I decide to follow, okay? And I'm following them because they're important to what I'm doing and I'm doing at this time. It's not that they're not important as people to me. It's just that I don't have any working, I don't need to add people that I don't work with in an everyday fashion, right? I just want to limit my list of people I see and work with. So right at the top, you'll see, and it's alphabetical, you'll see from Brian 6 down to Vibe Cloud Core Team. All of them have stars. Now, all of these people and groups are the main people and groups that I work with at this time. Now, at what point that I don't need to work with Greg White anymore, who's on my team, so I can't imagine that not working or not happening, but I can unstar Greg at any point, and he will drop from the top of my list, and you'll see that a new alphabetical list starts with Aaron Benson and goes all the way down to disease again. And you'll notice that Greg White now falls into the unstarred list. So this is a way of showing or being able to quickly reference the people that I work with most often. All right, so up here I've got settings. I've got 4 to-dos. I have 1 pending follower, 2 requests for legal, 1 request for a group for Karen's test, right? And so I can go out and I've set my settings that anyone internally that wants to follow me are more than welcome. If you're external and you want to follow, so if any of you would like to follow me, it would send me a request and I would go out and I would approve it. Not that I don't want you to follow me. You're more than welcome to follow me. I just want to know who's actually, you know, I just want to be notified of who's following me. Now, I can go and I can see 94 people are following. I'm following 92. I've had 27 posts. This is our beta system. So I can go in here and I can do a search for anything and everything, for people, words, whatever I want to search for. Now, as you can imagine, this is a big list. So here you see 1 out of 1,082 posts. Now, this isn't all that we have in the system, right? This is 1,082 posts from people that and groups that I'm following, okay? So I don't follow a whole bunch of people because I want to make sure that what I'm seeing is clean. I don't want to have to scroll through a whole bunch of stuff. But as you can see, everything is just a constant discussion thread. Now, here you'll see if I go to people, I can see a list of people that are in Vibe Cloud, and I can see, are they following? Am I a follower? Okay, so I'm following in Aaron Vincent, but he is not following me, and that's fine. That's his choice. So you'll see that throughout this entire list of everyone within the Vibe Cloud system. Now, for beta, for the open beta that we have, anytime you sign up, it is as an individual. Even still with Novell employees, we are considered individuals at this point. We are about to go into what's called a Lighthouse Account, and if you're interested, please reach out to me. But a Lighthouse Account where we will introduce organizations, and this is where Novell.com will become an organization. Your domain would become an organization. And at that point, you are allowing people within your organization to see each other, okay? Right now in Vibe Cloud, everyone is treated as individuals. So I can see anyone that has signed in to Vibe Cloud, and I can choose to request to follow them, or they can choose to request to follow me, because it's an open system at this point. It's getting ready to go into close down mode. So with files, files are handled in different fashions. So actually, before I do this, I want to step back to the big list. There are two types of post, okay? One type of post, right here it says send message to Karen Victory. Well, I'm Karen Victory. So when I send a message to Karen Victory, this goes on my public feed, okay? So anyone that is following me or chooses to follow me will be able to see whatever I post here. Now, if I go over to Lothar Wegner, who's also on my team, and I want to send Lothar Wegner a post, then you can tell that it has gone from just Karen Victory and Lothar. It's not public anymore. It's private, okay? So we can do that as well. Now I'm going to go back home, and so you know the two different posts. Now, depending on what type of, where you are in the system, okay, I'm going to go to the data center, let's see, I'm going to go to the Vibe Cloud core team, okay, and this is where we have our core team calls. This is engineering, training, sales, everybody that needs to be involved for our Vibe Cloud product. So if I go to files, I'm going to see that I have posted one file into this group. So the files are pertained to where you are, okay? So if I go home and I'm on my public feed, what files do I have on my public feed that anyone can access? I coincidentally have the same file. But because I'm on my public feed, anyone that follows me will be able to see those files. Now, from here, I can download it. Now, in the presentation, I said that we would have file synchronization, and we will. It's just not activated yet. But basically what would happen is I would have this little applet in my taskbar that will synchronize files on and offline. And so what it does is it will merge all of the changes at the bit level, and so I'm able to co-edit those files among multiple people. All right, and so my profile is just a profile page. This is where, you know, I can LDAP sync via SAML, and it will bring in all of my information that is in my directory, but I can also go in there and make additional edits if I choose to do so. So I now have 5 to-dos, and I see that Dave Burrick and Patrick Peterson has requested to follow me. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to allow. I'm assuming that one of you are on the call because it was too coincidental. So I'm going to allow. So Dave Burrick is now following me, okay? And let's say I want to follow Dave and I want to follow Patrick. Now, I'm assuming it's Dave that's on the call, so my apologies, Patrick, if it's you. But if I go into Dave Burrick, his profile, And I see that Dave Burrick is online. Oops, sorry, it went down to the bottom. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. All right, so right now I can't follow Dave because my request is pending, so I can't get to his page yet until he approves me. So let's try Patrick, and we'll look at Patrick. So let's see if Patrick's approved me, and I'm not approved yet either. And this is part of the profile settings. So let's go into settings so that you can see what's going on. I'm here. So that's great. Well, first, before we go into settings, let's have some fun. So very nice. Hi, Patrick. So it is Patrick on the call. Great. So hi, Patrick, and I'm just going to send this. Now, what I can also do is I can edit this, his original post. And if Patrick does the same thing, and he clicks on his edit button, and I hope that he does, then he can basically co-edit this discussion thread with me. So I'm here too. Nice to have you, and thank you for following, right? So what Patrick can do at the same time is he can go ahead and co-edit this document if he would like. Or we can come down here and we can, there you go. So Patrick basically erased everything. And so if I go in here, wanted to correct your spelling. So I can also come in here and I can add a gadget and say I want to do a mini spreadsheet gadget, okay? And these gadgets are from different places. They're basically open gadgets that we've imported into the system, and you'll see more gadgets being added all the time. So what's nice about the spreadsheet gadget is that I can be in here and I can edit, and somebody can be in here and co-edit with me. And so if they're in here, I can see that when they are editing this gadget, they'll have a gray box. And I know that they're in that cell to where I can't edit that cell either. So you can see that Patrick's adding another gadget. Thank you. And so as Patrick is making some changes in this gadget, I can also be making changes. Now, over here on the right, you'll see all of the visitors that are in the actual thread and what's going on. So I'm just going to hit done, and I'm actually going to go back to my home because I want to show you something that's pretty cool, and it's part of the presence awareness. So here, Daniel Christensen had sent a public to Daniel Christensen's feed. This is a public post, and what's happening is you'll see multiple people who are currently visiting Daniel Christensen's post. So if I choose, I can also join in and I can visit his post. And gosh, let's see what he has to say. You know, it's a public feed, so I can see whatever I can see whatever he's writing. And I can add my own opinion about this if I'd like. I have no clue and I don't have time to read it. But I can go in and I can edit some of these things, or I can even add my own. But you can actually see a real-time discussion thread happening. This is not scripted. I'm just lucky enough to be in here when one is actually going on. So let's go back into my settings because I do want to review this and what it means. So first I have my account. I can change my password if I want. Right now we are not synchronized with our e-directory or anything at this time. That's actually taking place very soon. But permissions. We have recommended by default settings, but anyone in your organization or anyone you follow can follow you without your approval. So remember when I said that I was following Aaron Benson, but he wasn't following me? Well, if Aaron decides that he wants to follow me, he would be able to for two reasons. One, he's a Novell.com employee. Two, because he's part of my organization. Two, he would be able to follow me because I'm already following him, okay? Now, if I don't like that, I can say anyone can follow me without my approval. I'm not keen on that, but some people are. A couple of my coworkers say anyone can follow them. And then I can say no one. I don't care if you're in my organization or not, no one can follow me. Direct messaging, we have different settings, so we can go through that. We also have notices, and this goes back to that bridging the generational gap. And I find this very helpful for me because my main tool that I work in is email. And so anything that is sent to me, it will send me an email letting me know. And so from my email, I can reply back to that message. I don't have to come in here and log in. I'll be able to reply back to that message from my email and be able to converse back and forth without me leaving the tool of my preference. But yet, whoever chooses to use this type of social collaboration as their everyday tool, same thing happens for them, right? They're in here, they're collaborating, they don't have to leave. Now, you've noticed some pop-ups that came up in my upper right corner. That's because I've said enable pop-up notifications in my browser, okay? Then I said notify me email when a user follows me, a group adds me, or a user requests to join a group. Send me a copy of my email for direct messages. Also for groups, I have chosen that the collaboration enablement group, I want to receive emails. But Karen's test, this was just a test group that I had set up. I haven't deleted it. But collaboration enablement, send me an email. My North America collaboration TSS calls. This is my team. So I am a North America collaboration TSS. And so you'll see as a use case, when I go into North American collaboration, you'll see that my team actually uses this quite extensively. And one use case that we use it for our agenda call or for our team calls. We have a team call like clockwork every Monday, 4 o'clock. And so if I can't join a call, you know why now. So in here, we keep all of our meeting notes for every meeting that we have, okay? Here, we had TSS training just recently. It was in Las Vegas, and so I wanted to know when everybody was coming in, and so what I did was I created a gadget, and so in this gadget, I was able to show everyone in when they were arriving and when they were departing. And they could go in and choose if they wanted to arrive or depart, okay, or put it in, sorry. They were able, so you can see that Norm decided that he wasn't going to put in his information. That's his choice, right? But for everyone else, I could see what time they were arriving, what time they were departing. So it really is a very nice, instead of emails going back and forth, or the executive admin having to pull all this stuff together, very quickly I could use Vibe Cloud for this and bring everyone's schedules together. We can use it for meeting notes and so on and so forth. Now, this is a lot of stuff in this big list. I think everyone would probably agree. It's a lot. So let's say I want to be able to filter. And this is a very key aspect of Vibe Cloud because it's a running list of stuff. So I have to be able to filter in what my view is. So maybe what I filter on is all my incoming messages, or maybe my outgoing messages, okay? And you'll see outgoing messages, it went from 1,000 incoming to 35 outgoing, okay? I can filter on starred messages, which I haven't starred any. I can filter, oh, I guess I did. I probably did that as when I was doing a demo. So I can filter on starred messages. So if I go up here, this little thing pops up. I can delete this message from my view. I can tag it, and tagging is like categories within GroupWise. And so I'm able to tag it, and I can have my own tags, or I can use global tags. Okay, so let's say I'm interested in anything that's involving the collaboration tag. That was probably a bad choice because nothing is tagged. All right, so this isn't good because now I don't have anything tagged. All right, so we can tag conversations with global tags or even my personal tags if I would choose to do so. All right, so oh, you know why? Because I filtered. I had a duplicate filter. Let's see what happens now. Let's go to collaboration. Let's see what's tagged. Okay, nothing. So I give up. All right, so we can tag things. I'm trying to think of what else. Over here, this is another way to filter if you choose to filter. But I really like Vibe Cloud because it really brings in people. If I want to create a new post on mine, and let's say I want to enter davidvictory@gmail.com. I don't know what his email address is for Gmail. I'm just putting something in there. And, you know, I want to involve who happens to be my husband, but let's say he's not. And I want to involve him in a discussion. I can do that as long as my organization has allowed me to email externally or to involve someone externally. And so then David comes to Vibe Cloud and he logs in. He actually can see the post without logging in. And so in that kind of manner, it doesn't require a license or a subscription. So those people that are not part of your organization can come in, absorb the information, or consume the information that you want to share with them without consuming a license. All right. So with that, it is 12:34. It leaves about 10 minutes for questions. What kind of questions do we have?
Let's see. Okay. The first one is there a plan to make Novell Vibe on Prem and Cloud more alike in the future?
There is, absolutely. So if you know the history of Vibe on Prem, Vibe on Prem was just recently rebranded from Teaming. So when we released the version 3 of Teaming and called it Vibe on Prem 3, the idea was to bring the two technologies together under the same umbrella, understanding that they're not common code base, understanding that they still offer different items, but it is the plan to bring the feature set together and still provide an on-premise solution for those organizations that can't go cloud, and also provide a cloud solution for those organizations that prefer to go cloud.
Perfect.
And I'll also point out that if you know what the previous version of Vibe on Prem looked like, Teaming, you'll know that the new version has the same look and feel, so that of Vibe Cloud. So that is something that you'll see, although it's just look and feel. That's part of the convergence of these two products.
Okay. And it doesn't. I don't see any other questions right now. If you have any questions, feel free to put those through on the chat or the Q&A box.
Does that mean I just did a really, really good job?
I think so. I would say
Sweet.
That's what that means. You covered everything.
I covered everything possible.
That's right.
Well, I saw a couple pop-ups, so it looked like we had some interested parties, and I saw one organization pop up, and they were interested, so that's great. And like I mentioned, if you're interested in the Lighthouse account, please feel free to reach out to me. Basically, the Lighthouse account, what this does is it allows for Vibe Cloud to be introduced into your organization. We will provide all the services and training for free to get it set up and going within your organization. Thanks, Ken. So it's services that we offer, and what we do with Lighthouse accounts is the purpose of a Lighthouse account is to get them integrated into the system. It allows you to become aware of the features. We give you some use cases and things like that. But in turn, also, we would expect that you would be a reference account and things like that. So there's a give and take, and but we're definitely interested. So if this is a solution that you're looking for your organization, and you're interested in even just reviewing what the Lighthouse account can do for you, reach out to me. I can be reached at kvictory@novell.com. And I'll put up the beginning slide for you as well. So, oh, it's not on there, is it? Let me do this then. I'll edit it, real time. All right, so there's my email address. So if